Uncensored, no holds barred talk. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is Global Reality Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thank you for being with us tonight here for yet another Moonbat edition of the broadcast. And we're coming to you live tonight here at 1:23 a.m. Central Standard Time, and late night stuff for you here. And glad you could be with us. Glad you could stay up with us. Glad you could get up early with us. Glad you could start your day with us. Glad you could end your day with us, whatever perspective and whatever place you're living at. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening to us, whether it's on an archive or anything else. Yeah, 1:23 a.m. I didn't even think about that, puppy. There you go. And so, yeah, thanks everybody for being with us here tonight. And feels good to know that when you're, a Moonbat stay up late person. In case you didn't know, I get this all the time. People are always like, hey, man, why do you always call it the Moonbat Show? Isn't that what they call the lefty commie liberals that, that blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, it is. Technically, yeah, they do. But we've tried to reclaim that here. And it sort of claim it as not, a bunch of left-wing kooks or whatever, but really just, Moonbatty, man. It's like, if you got to explain what moonbattiness is, you know what I'm saying? It's like if somebody asks, what's a noob? You say, you have to ask, you're a noob. It's kind of the same thing. So there you go. But thanks for staying up with us tonight. We are going to, as to be expected right now, where all this news and all the news cycles, no matter what news source you go to, pretty much, it all is revolving around the Osama ordeal, and what an ordeal and a soap opera it has turned into and continues to progress into, as would be expected. And I'm really shocked, honestly, at what an operation. It's day 2 here, I guess now. And or day 3, whatever it is, my days are jumbled together. I'm just kind of in a fog right now for numerous reasons. Things going on in my life and stuff with my dad, and trying to put my energy towards doing the work, making the films and doing the radio show, and producing music and playing in a band and selling music equipment. And I just feel stretched thin sometimes, and this news stuff, it's really no surprise it's all revolving around this. Oh man, insane, wild, crazy stuff. But so we're going to be getting into quite a bit of things. I'm really just shocked at how it's turned into this massive operation. To me, I really have it nailed down, in my opinion, or at least I have my opinion nailed down for what this whole fiasco is. I mean, I think it's turned into 100% a complete operation to attempt to discredit people that are putting out information. I think that they tried to do it a little bit with the Charlie Sheen. I think the Charlie Sheen fiasco was the opening salvo of that. I think this is a continuation because the media has put a huge focus on anybody who brings up the facts about the bin Laden situation and everything else. And generally, this is they don't really give these type of quote unquote conspiracy theories that much play in the mainstream media, and they're giving them a major amount of play in the mainstream media, and that lets me know right there that obviously this is part of some larger psychological operation. Because normally, I mean, for years, people have all this stuff about bin Laden's been out there for years, and nobody's ever tried to pay attention to it except for the people that are looking for it or researching stuff or talking about info. But now they're just so quick to say why him being dead for years and all this stuff. Really quick to try to make this seem like it's not true. And I think that what they're going to do in the larger eyes of the public is, bring out this DNA evidence, bring out this stuff. They're going to make it irrefutable into the eyes of the public and try to use it as an attempt to further discredit people who are putting out real valid information. I think this is a direct assault. I'll tell you, I started noticing this last night that this was happening, and I had to go to the hospital tonight to see my dad as his cancer's come back. They had to take him in an ambulance the other night. He like too much of his medication or something, and so he's kind of out of it on the pills and the cancer and everything else. And he thought he was in jail. He kept when I got there, he was like, "Oh, thank God you're here. You can bust me out of this joint now." He thought he was in jail, and it just made him relieved. I was like, what is this? What am I, your jailbreak buddy here, Dad? Okay, you can see me. You're like, oh, thank God you're here. Now let's bust my. He's like, I think we can get out through the roof. I was like, you mapped this shit out already, hadn't you? Damn. But when we were sitting there in the hospital, and we were watching television, and Inside Edition came on. Remember Inside Edition, right? Well, it was funny because that was the first place I ever saw Alex Jones on. Actually, it was Hard Copy was the first place I ever saw Alex Jones, way back in the 1990s. I don't know, 95, 96, ranting and raving about black helicopters and shit like that in Waco. But anyway, Inside Edition comes on. The first thing that I see when it comes on Inside Edition is conspiracies. Literally, and that voice with the overlay, text overlay that scrolls across the screen, with that voice, conspiracies. And the next thing I know, I see the enchilada up there. Honks, he's been dead for years, been lying. This whole thing's a honks. And then the show comes on and they get into it. And it was, I got to say, it was probably one of the few things I've seen in a very long time. I would say that I can honestly say I actually agreed with Alex Jones on. He's a cocksucker, but I got to say, because what was going on here it was real cut, chopped, edited. It was an interview was conducted with Alex Jones, but they didn't per se show the interview at all. It was a piece, and they cut up and chopped up what Jones and this person had talked about. And I thought that was like, well, just show us the interview. They didn't show the interview. They cut and chop little pieces out of there. So, they probably used to their advantage. Not trying to defend Jones, but anybody, whether you hate the guy or not, anybody could tell in about 2.5 seconds they were cutting and editing it to the way they wanted to be. And they had asked him something about, so you honestly believe that Osama bin Laden died on kidney dialysis in Dubai. You honestly believe that hogwash? Like really being, emphasizing it. And Jones was turning beet red. I would have been too. I mean, he was turning beet red and laughing hysterically. And I mean, you couldn't help but to, because they were just, I mean, that's how funny this shit is to those of us who are actually paying attention. It is hilarious. I mean, you actually believe he died on kidney dialysis? Yeah, dude, we've known that shit for years. You mean you don't know he died on kidney dialysis in Dubai? It's you who are the fuck up, buddy. Not us, not the people who know what's going on. That was hilarious, man. It was one of I got to say, it was one of the few things I'd ever seen Alex Jones participate in on television that didn't look staged to me. I mean, it looked like it was legitimately like, let's get this cocksucker up here and see what he has to say. You know, it really was like that. But yeah, man, I mean, give me a break. I mean, you're the guy, you're the person here, you know, no more that it used to be. I mean, that's such an old tactic. Inside Edition needs to step up their game if that's all they've got to try and debunk conspiracy theorists. I mean, my God, step it up, boys. You notice these fucking shows never call me. Oh, hell no. These motherfuckers wouldn't dare put my ass on the TV. Hell no. Because then they might, the worst thing they want is there to ever be any attention on anything I do. That's the biggest thing. You'd never see me on one of their shows. Oh, they'd never. Oh, hell no. Because number one, they know it'd be beep, beep, beep. They'd have to go in there and wear out their fucking censor button. I'd be on there. This fucking mainstream media motherfuckers. Beep, beep. You know, you'd get about 8 seconds of good actual news time between me, you know, just dropping F-bombs and C-bombs and whatever else have you. Just cuz. For no other reason. I would. For no other reason. The mainstream media asked me for an interview. You better bet your fucking ass that I'm going to be as retarded and ridiculous and just drop F-bombs and this is some fucking bullshit and you're a fucking cocksucker and you camera guy over there, you're a cocksucker too. You probably work for the New World Order. I mean, you know, oh, it's too funny. But I don't know. What do you say? You know, I mean, what would you say in that situation? I mean, what do you say when if one of those cocksuckers comes to you and asks you for an interview? I understand Jones. I mean, he's on the inside. They know who he is. He's been on several TV shows now. So when they need, he's on their file list. Where they have a file list, you know, once you've been interviewed, you know, multiple times, they have a file list they go to. And when they need to roll out a conspiracy theorist, they roll out, you know, whatever the most recent person or whoever has had the most attention on them recently out from the Rolodex and ask them to come on so they can use that person as a tool of disinformation. Now, that's the tricky part, isn't it? Because, for instance, you know, we have Alex Jones dead to rights on many things he's connected to that are just way too huge to ignore. His Jesuit connections and the John Birch Society stuff and all his guests and the CMP people and CMP people left and right and all over the place. He's connected to 7 Ways to Sunday. So, you know, we've got enough info on the guy to nail him dead to rights on that stuff, but. You know, and that's a tricky situation because the question that begs to be answered here is if a person, like, it was obvious that, let's just say, for instance, that if Inside Edition asked me to go on that show instead of Alex Jones, okay, and I said yes, which I most likely wouldn't do unless I could go on there and drop F-bombs anyway, but let's just say that was me in that position. They'd asked me to go do that, and I went up there and I did that. And they did exactly to my piece what they did to Jones. Cut it up. Give it no context. Don't actually show the interview. Just show clips from the interview while you're talking over it. And saying, they started out with, I conducted an interview with Alex Jones. And then they would just kind of pan back and forth to pieces of the interview. And the question is, if that was a piece that was designed as a hit piece, as a way to try and attempt to discredit researchers and people of my ilk, and they did indeed use it for that, and I was on there, does that make me a shill because I said yes to an interview that was then conducted and used for purposes that I don't agree with? Because, see, some people by definition say that Alex Jones is a shill because he goes on Inside Edition or whatever have you. And I think there's multiple situations here. I think there has indeed been times when he's been on. I think the View thing totally was a part of a bigger operation. But, you know, so my question here is that it does, you know, I don't know. I would be easy to call Alex Jones a shill and say that, you know, he's serving the larger operation to discredit researchers and real research and stuff of that nature, sure. I mean, the evidence is there. We've determined that a long time ago. There's no reason to beat that dead horse here tonight. But you see what I mean? It's a tricky situation because it's in a way you see the point where even if they try to discredit you, just getting your name out there might be a way to get more people to look into real information. So I actually think that Alex Jones serves a purpose now. Because, you know what? Let these fucking rookies and these high school kids, which really is all Alex Jones' audience now anyway, noobs and fucking high school kids. Literally. And he's got some old fucks in there, too. They're Christians and don't know no better. But for the most part, that's his audience. And you know what? That's fine. Let them cut their teeth on the big enchilada. And then when they're ready to sprout some pubes and move on up in the world, we can slide them over to my way or Lee's way or, something like that. But what I'm saying here is that, the depths of what we are up against here go beyond the normal, usual black and white sort of definitions. I mean, it's obvious that there's some sort of internal battle going on between the elite, but it seems that we have people playing both sides all over the place. As we've been reading William Bramley's The Gods of Eden, we'll continue to do more reading from that here tonight on the broadcast. We're going to start a new chapter here tonight where we left off. Chapter 29, The World of Fire, from William Bramley's The Gods of Eden. We'll be reading from there tonight. But over the past subsequent nights when we've been reading from The Gods of Eden, we talked about the American Revolutionary War and who put that together. And it's amazing the synchronicities and the connections of the creation of the American Revolution and really being a phony revolution so they could just come in and set up a banking system and a taxation system on the people, no different than what they had in England. And its connections go directly back to the Brotherhood, which the Brotherhood, as we know today, would be the priest class, and it would be the Vatican and the Jesuits and all that stuff. The ones who were put in charge of the secret knowledge from the custodians that have been able to control all the world powers up to this time. So you really do see the connection between that and the new phony revolutionaries they're rolling out through the Ron Paul stuff and the Truth Movement, Patriot Movement stuff now. You really do see these connections. This idea of creating this phony revolution that appears to the people to be a revolution to only bring in something that those people would be against. It seems very real to me right now, In the end, the New World Order is already here, folks. I mean, if you think there's not already global government and all this stuff, you're out of your mind. They just haven't openly announced it to the public, but global government has been here for a very long time. It's not anything new. It's not anything coming. It's here. It's been here for a long time. Same thing with the North American Union. That was a big mind-opening thing for me. Myself and Michael Vale had done some research a few years ago. I guess it was about 2008 when we'd done this, and we had found out all these treaties that were signed in South America and stuff, and discovered that while everybody was watching planes flying to buildings on 9/11, they were Condi Rice and a bunch of them were down in South America signing us into this South American treaty that effectively was with leaders of Canada, Mexico, and it effectively was bringing us into the North American Union right now on the day of 9/11. We have been in the North American Union since the day of 9/11. And so as we find out more and more that, everybody else says, we got to fight the NWO, we got to fight the NWO, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's already here. The framework, the backbone, everything for it exists, and in so many ways and forms it does exist, but it hasn't been brought to its full fruition yet, so it hasn't been officially announced. Because if they officially announce it before it's completed, it will tumble like a house of cards around them because of the awareness it will create in the eyes of the general public. So understand that. So that's the first thing you need to understand, is that don't worry about winning or losing the fight against the New World Order, because That fight has already been determined. But the fucked up thing is that people have this thing in their head when you say that to them, they think that you automatically are admitting defeat and saying it's over and we've been defeated and we're giving up and blah, blah. No, did I say that? No. Giving up what? We're not giving up anything. Nothing changes. Doing the research and finding out for yourself that global government and all these things that we're fear-mongered about by the Truth Movement and Patriot Movement are already here, but just not fully admitted yet because they haven't brought it to its full fruition. That's not an admission of defeat. But what it allows you to do is to not be fighting in some invisible battle against invisible enemies and shady, shadowy enemies that you can't see, all the while it's already here and they're moving to the next level because you're still focusing on stuff they've already achieved. That's what I'm saying. So let's not get hung up on this, and worry about, we've got to fight the New World Order and this and that. No. It's a very, very crucial time right now because so many people are waking up. They're doing so many things that are a lot more obvious now. They're leaving breadcrumbs around. We're at a very unique time where the tables could turn. And finally, people would want a true spiritual revolution of the mind to take over on the planet. And things would transform overnight. If everybody decided that there was, that we could all live together and there's no reason to kill anybody else, everything would change overnight. And it's these people that are doing the killing, not us. It's just an amazing thing. But love to hear from you tonight. GlobalRealityShow@gmail.com. It's GlobalRealityShow@gmail.com. Not a lot of news. We just have a few stories we're going to get into here in this segment tonight. And we'll be reading from William Bramley again. GlobalRealityShow@gmail.com is my email address. Love to hear from you if you want to send an email for me to read on air tonight or anything like that. I don't think trying to see. I don't think I have any so far here to get into tonight. So I guess we'll just jump right into the news for you tonight. There's not very much, just a couple of stories here we're going to hit. Oh, this is a huge one because a lot of you may remember in my film, I don't know, there were some things in the Secret Right Volume 1 that I think kind of went over people's heads. That's why I suggested if you've learned more about the CMP, if you watched the Secret Right Volume 1 when it came out, and you haven't watched it again in a while, you should go back and do that, because if you've learned more about the CMP, there's little things in there I think you might catch, you maybe didn't catch a first go-around, because there's a segment in there where I show, it's an ABC News clip talking about gun control and the Patriot Act, and it's John Ashcroft talking about, gun control acts and Patriot Act stuff. And then as the counterpoint to John Ashcroft, they show in an interview with Gun Owners of America, Larry Pratt, Council for National Policy member. And I saw, and we had ordered this clip from the News Archive because it said it had, Ashcroft and Pratt in it. So I was like, okay, well, John Ashcroft, he's a Council for National Policy member as well. So there's two of them in that clip. But little did I know at the time when we had gotten that clip from the News Archives that in it they would be showing Ashcroft as being, for these pro-Patriot Act amendments and stuff for gun control. And they bring Larry Pratt on to, say why John Ashcroft's wrong and this is bad. And I was going, now wait just a damn minute here. And I started going through some of my picture files and stuff. And I was looking, I put this up on the screen in the movie, but first off, John Ashcroft and Larry Pratt are both CMP members. Here they're appearing to be on the opposite sides of an issue, right? Which you find very interesting because they're in this secretive right-wing group, the Council for National Policy, together. And then I show on the screen, I actually had a picture on, U.S. government letterhead, and it was a handwritten letter from John Ashcroft to Larry Pratt thanking him for his work and and just really acting like they were big butts. But this ABC News thing was presenting them having these, opposing sides of it. And I said, see how they show both, they have both of their operatives there. Well, it's interesting when you look at their connection back to the priest class. You look at Larry Pratt and his connections in with Pat Buchanan, the Jesuit-trained guy who was running. They were Pratt and Buchanan were both working for the what was the Inter-American Security Council, something like that. And they were in charge of funneling the money between the Contras and the CIA drug money out of the U.S. You had Larry Pratt up there with Howard Phillips in Estes Park, Colorado in 1990, where the creation of the militia movement in the United States really sprang from. And they were passing out these forms to these Christians saying that Jews were coming to take over and they needed to get militias going. Meanwhile, Howard Phillips is walking around. He is a Jew. And we've extensively documented the Blackwater connection to the Council for National Policy. Edgar and Elza Prince, father of Eric Prince of Blackwater, both were charter members of the Council for National Policy, and they were standing members all the way through their lives. Eric Prince as well. We've seen the connections to the priest class with Blackwater, with their weapons, with their tanks, their Humvees, the Templar 1, the Crusader 2, and, of course, John Ashcroft now being Sovereign Military Order of Malta as well. We see these priest class bozos coming again and uniting together and coming back from war here. This from Wired Danger Room. Blackwater's new ethics chief, none other than Mr. John Ashcroft. Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the shit tree, now does it? I mean, isn't that just perfect? John Ashcroft goes to work for Blackwater. Yeah, keep it in the family, keep it in the priest class, keep it in the butt-fuck union, I guess. I don't know. The consortium in charge of reconstructing the world's most infamous private security firm just added a new chief in charge of keeping the company on the straight and narrow. Yes, John Ashcroft, the former U.S. Attorney General, is now an independent director of Z Services, formerly known as Blackwater.
Suck Satan's cock. Suck Satan's cock.
Oh, my goodness. Ashcroft will head Z's new subcommittee on governance. Its backers announced early Wednesday in a statement the subcommittee is designed to maximize governance, compliance, and accountability, and also to promote the highest degrees of ethics and professionalism within the private security industry. In other words, no more shooting civilians in Iraq and Afghanistan, no more signing for weapons its guards are authorized to carry in war zones, and no more impersonations of cartoon characters to acquire said weaponry. Oh, yeah, they were signing their name as Eric Cartman to get weaponry. Sweet. Sweet. Give me a weapon. Blackwater can kick my ass. Ashcroft's arrival at Z is yet another clear signal it's not giving up the quest for lucrative government security contracts. Now that it's no longer owned by founder Eric Prince, even as it emphasizes the side of its business that trains law enforcement officers. Yeah. Well, we go over here and kill Hodges, and then we come bring these boys back over here to America and get them a steady job working in the PD, and we let them kill brown people, white people. Hell, we let them kill everybody over here. So, actually, when they're over there in Afghanistan killing Hodges, it's actually better, because then they ain't back here, killing brown people. But hell, it's all the same. They all brown anyway, right? Hell yeah. Ashcroft's arrival is yet another clear signal. It's not giving up its quest for the lucrative government security contracts. It's now no longer owned by founder Eric Prince, even as it emphasizes the side of its business. It trains law enforcement officers. Ashcroft, a U.S. senator, before becoming attorney general in the Bush administration, is a very known quantity to the federal officials that Z will pitch. Even if he's not lobbying for Blackwater, Ashcroft's addition on the board is meant to inspire confidence in government officials of its newfound rectitude. To some, Ashcroft will forever be known as the face of Bush-era counterterrorism. The official who vigorously defended the Patriot Act's sweeping surveillance powers told civil libertarians that in their dissents only aid terrorists and covered up the spirit of justice's boob. At the same time, when Ashcroft was critically ill in 2005, he resisted a White House mission to the hospital bed. You know what? Anybody else to think that's a bit odd too? Remember that? A few years ago, Ashcroft all of a sudden was just out of nowhere, just ill as fuck on his deathbed. And I even said at that time, I said, you know what? I bet somebody might have poisoned him or what does he know? What are they trying to get him to keep his mouth shut about? And then miraculously, he made a miraculous recovery. Now he's, going to head up Z Services. I think they got him to
suck Satan's cock.
I think they did. I think literally they got him to it. Got him to suck it because all of a sudden he's healed and he's heading up Z Services. Come on, man. Inside the heart of a volcano, explorers descend 650 feet into a magma chamber for the first time. Again, I'm starting to see that movie, The Core, pop up. Remember, we've seen all the stuff with the weird electromagnetic stuff. Now they're trying to get 650 feet into a magma chamber into the ground in a volcano for the first time. Why? Now, something's going on that they're interested in getting down underneath there with. It's very, very, very strange to me. I've noticed also a rash of, two stories here that I've seen. Oh, sorry about that. I had to mute the mic there for a second. But two stories I've seen that really kind of lean towards the direction of, I don't know, either they're going to come out with information about that humankind was genetically tinkered with. I mean, hell, they've been talking about that on the History Channel, on Ancient Aliens. That's kind of, to talk about that in any format on television is huge to me. But I've seen these two stories that have come out this week that are really pushing the idea that mankind and what we evolved from was very different than what we think it is. I mean, new information is coming out. I wonder what they're acclimating us for. Nutcracker Man, ancient human relative, was primitive equivalent of a cow who had huge teeth and liked to eat grass. I shit you not. An ancient human relative that was a human cow. Did he have two stomachs too? I mean, we're starting to find more and more evidence here of that it's possible that what mankind was on this planet was really, really tinkered with and really brought a long way forward in the evolutionary chain than we believe. I mean, Cro-Magnon and all that stuff and Australopithecus and all these ancient humans may have actually been a way more advanced version that had already been tinkered with many times. Still inferior to what we know as man today, but a lot farther from, this blah, 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 land-dwelling cowman thing here. So this is odd to me. Are they acclimating us for something? That's really the big question. An ancient relative of humans dubbed Nutcracker Man, because of his powerful jaws and huge teeth, may have actually preferred to eat grass, say scientists. The hominid known as Paranthropus ranged from the African landscape more than 1 million years ago and lived side by side with direct ancestors of humans. Professor Matt Spoonheimer said it was long assumed that it had favored nuts, seeds, and hard fruit because of its powerful jaw muscles and the biggest and flattest molars of any hominid in the anthropological record. However, he said in recent years, study of the wear mass of teeth from the Nutcracker Man by other research teams has indicated that it was likely eating items like soft fruit and grasses. That evidence, combined with a new study that measured the carbon isotopes embedded in fossil teeth to infer diet, indicates the rugged jaw and large flat tooth structure may have been just the ticket for Nutcracker Man to mow down and swallow huge amounts of grasses or sedges at a single sitting. Professor Spoonheimer at the University of Colorado Boulder said, frankly, we didn't expect to find the primate equivalent of a cow dangling from a remote twig of our family tree. Fortunately for us, the work of several research groups over the last several years has begun to soften prevailing notions of early hominid diets. If we had presented our new results at a scientific meeting 20 years ago, we would have been laughed out of the room. For the new study, the researchers removed tiny amounts of enamel from 22 Paranthropus teeth collected in central and northern Kenya, each of which attained carbon isotopes. And, it makes me wonder, I mean, is this what the Heritage Foundation is going to bring out, Is this what the, not the Heritage Foundation, but the Pioneer Fund, is this what they're going to bring out next, because their Pioneer Fund is the eugenics group that all these CMP twats are connected to. It makes me wonder, what are they going to say that, oh, well, yeah, it's this, cowman, ground-dwelling, hominid, grass-eating thing that, the Anunnaki tinkered with to make black people or something like that. I mean, is this why they're allowing this to come out? Because literally the Pioneer Fund, their whole idea is that they can prove that blacks are genetically inferior to whites. They actually claim that racist horseshit and put billions of dollars into proving it. But, so it makes me wonder if that's what they're going to do, because it just seems like there's this big thing to identify races, big thing to identify exactly where races of people came from, almost like they're getting ready to divide the world back up into sections and segregate people by races into certain areas. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it just, there seem to be coming out with a lot more information on this. Listen to this. There's another one. And this one was an older article someone had sent me. It came out, I guess, September last year. I think I covered this last year. Yeah, I did cover this. Yeah, blacks, whites, Asians have different ancestors and did not come from Africa. A public claim by a fellow of the prestigious Royal Geographic Society that humans did not all come from Africa and that blacks, whites, and Asians have different ancestors has been dismissed by world experts as dangerous, wrong, and racist. In a paper widely trumpeted and due for release in book form, Akhil Bakishi, the leader of a recent major scientific expedition supported by India's prime minister, claims that Negroid, Caucasian, and Mongoloid peoples are not only separate races but separate species, evolving and having evolved on different continents. And that's actually what the Sumerian texts say. That first they created, in that order. Actually, not in that order, but they say first they created, they call them, they don't call them Negroids, they call them darkheads in the Sumerian text. That translates to darkheads. So first it was the darkheads, and then it was the Mongols, and then it was the Caucasoids. And they were spread out, on different continents after the genetic breeding programs were successful. So to have a scientific verification of that, of things that have been in the ancient Sumerian text for thousands of years, is very interesting, but it just makes you wonder, why is the importance being put on this right now? It does seem, is this how the Obama birth certificate thing is going to play out? New revelations in, where humans originated from. I think you're going to change the world landscape and cause a resegregation of the continents, and Barack Obama's going to automatically be disqualified because of new genetic evidence that doesn't show that he's, that shows he's not of proper stock to be president. My God, these guys will do anything at this point, and it's just going to serve to rile everybody up further and use more divide and conquer against us, the people. That's what they want. They want us arguing with each other on this stuff. Yeah, let's see what else we have here tonight. Like I said, we don't think we have. That may be it, even it for news. There wasn't diddly dick fingers today, I tell you. Yeah, everything's just Osama this and Osama that, and who's covering up this, who's covering. Look, they're always covering shit up. My God. This whole thing's an operation. It's an operation within an operation. It's a multifaceted operation. That's how you know it's an operation. They're trying to discredit researchers and people who they call conspiracy theories. That's one. That's one of the folds of the operation. The other one is it's the whole thing's the ritual aspect of the whole thing in the first place. 133 days from the 10-year anniversary of 9/11 and the Hitler thing, all that stuff. But also to, help out in the campaign season. Give a good mark for and have it be, because they needed a defining moment. I'd been saying that for the longest time about Barack Obama, that there needed to be a defining moment that was going to define his presidency, and that's it right there. So that's another part of the operation. Also, another, like I talked about last night, I believe there's also a larger operation going on here to make it appear to the rest of the world that, yeah, America did fake this. So everybody will call for our heads on a silver platter. I think it is a continuation of the 9/11 op, no question. But they're really trying to bait us and get us into a divide and conquer. They want you fighting with your family members over about this stuff. They want you arguing. They're really trying to get us all riled up. That's what this is. Because they know now that a lot of people know the truth. The best they can do is dump something like this onto the minds of the general public. And they want us talking about this. They want our energy focused on this for whatever reason, whatever else they're planning, whatever they're trying to use to distract us with. I don't know. Maybe it's UFOs. Maybe it's, the alien invasion. Hell, it could be anything at this point. But I really do see this as not everything that's going on. We got to continue to dig. We got to continue to dig for the context. Continue to see if we can peel back the layers of the onion more and find out what's really going on here. What's under the surface? What are they trying to get us to not look at? What are they planning? What's going on? What's next? We have speculation. We have a lot. We have a lot of reason to suspect what's coming next. I mean, certainly the continuation of the fulfillment of the agenda, but it's going to get hairy. I mean, the United States of America is going to change completely for what it is now. It may not even be the United States of America anymore. We're probably going to get, from what it's looking like to me, we're going to get broken up into little principalities and stuff. I mean, I think we're going to see America be broken up into a bunch of principalities of various races and nationalities and everything else. Hell, Eric John Phelps talked about that on Red Ice Radio one time. He sounded like a total Nazi, too. He was saying that he honestly said on Red Ice Radio, I have the broadcast, I've played it here on the network before. People can vouch for me that this is out there. He literally said that he believed that the state of Pennsylvania needed to become a segregated state where you could put black people in one state and white people in the other. I mean, it's just total Nazi stuff. But I really do think they're going to do that. I think we're going to have, America's going to be broken up into little principalities. I think that's what all this UN land grab stuff has been about. National wildlife parks and all this stuff and all this, they have all these UN signs when you go inside of them. They don't belong to the people anymore. The companies have come in and taken over. I mean, hell, Centra has taken over all of the already paid for roads in Dallas, and they're taking over more of them. They got a big plan to put one on 635 here, the biggest city, the busiest highway in Dallas. They're going to make one level of it a toll road, and all that money's going to go to Spain, to Juan Carlos, to Centra. I think they're going to turn the United States into a bunch of little, sub countries of, satellite countries of other countries like China and Russia. You'll have one state, one area that'll be, it'll be like you're in Russia. That whole area of land will be Russia. You'll have another area of the country that whole area will be China. I really do think we're going to see that. And when you look at the evidence of who owns us, who owns this phony debt, I mean, these guys are going to, that's why I tell people, just max your credit cards out, dude. Max that shit. If you can get credit cards right now, max those fuckers out. If I could, if they give me a credit card right now, I'd go max out $5,000 and go buy the most pimped out Mac for making movies and editing video I could get my hands on for that much money. Because it's all phony anyway. And and the thing is, they have to erase their debt. They have to erase the mess they made. And the only way they can erase the mess they made and erase their debt is to erase all of ours too. And that is a fact. And I think that's on the table. They're going to wipe the slate clean and start all over again. New currency, new everything. Everybody starts back at zero. This is the big plan for them. Because they've come to the end of this operation. They've come to the end of this Ponzi scheme. So now it's time to blow the company out and have a fire sale and sell it for pennies on the dollar and start the scam all over again. That's really what the formation of the United States was. It was them starting the scam all over again, like they've done in every other empire. And they'll do it again, and they'll do it again, and it's designed to perpetuate itself. Period, end of story. All right, we're going to take a break and come back. Oh, I want to tell you, I'm going to be playing some new tracks from my brother Jake Reeves. He's got a band called the Range Drive Band, Jake Reeves and the Range Drive Band. And I've been helping him produce some tracks. So I'm going to play a couple of tracks here from some stuff that's upcoming from Jake. I'll be playing, I don't know, probably play one tonight and play some another night. But what should I play first? Should I play trying to think of which one I should play first here. I'll play the sort of truther one for you. My sister Jamie does background vocals on this. But anyway, I produced this and recorded it, and we've been working on this for a while. It's the first time my brother's had any recording, so I couldn't believe my brother actually came out with some truth lyrics and stuff. It's pretty cool. So check it out. Here it is. We'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll read from William Bramley's The Gods of Eden for you tonight. This is the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network, folks. Flap those fucking moonbatty wings and stay with us.
Nice to have them. Voices. It takes more than one to say something. Loving. Telling how to do it. Money. Careful how you use it. Rock and roll, we can kick and scream, we can talk about our love and greed, we can hold our heads up, we can bow to pray, but it's time to wake up, 'cause everything is not okay. Befriend you just to make you feel important. You'll ask them to defend you, and they'll just act so ignorant. I am not normal. What's that supposed to be? And I am not immortal. Lucky to be free. When all that's been forgotten, someday we'll live again. But time will only tell the beginning of the end. Live every day like your last one and find out the truth while you can. Stand on top of your mountain and fly away to your promise. Fly away to your promise. Fly away to your promised land.
All right, back here with you on the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight, Moonbats. And we're going to be reading tonight from chapter 29 of William Bramley's The Gods of Eden, The World of Fire. So that sounds like this is going to be a good chapter here tonight. I've enjoyed this reading. I mean, we're going to have to find something to read next because I don't know. As the events, I don't know. I just can't imagine what I'd be doing right now if I wasn't reading this with, with these news cycles that go that make you focus on one story intently for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and then boom, down the memory hole. Nobody remembers the oil spill remotely. People are starting to forget what happened in Japan already because they're just one right after another, you know. And, I mean, there's going to be some days where I'm not going to want to touch the news at all, like today, you know, 2 or 3 news stories. That was pretty much it because everything's just focused around that. So we're going to have to continue to find things to read. If you have suggestions of things you'd like to have me read in the future, again, just shoot me an email, globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's globalrealityshow@gmail.com, and I will do my best to try and read it on air if I can. There's some things I'm probably not going to read on air if you ask me to, just because some things are just not made to be read on air. I've tried some things before, and it just doesn't work. But definitely send anything you want over there. globalrealityshow@gmail.com. My website where this broadcast originates from, if you didn't know, is www.theglobalreality.com. It's www.theglobalreality.com. Also, check out our new website from the band The Demigods. It's www.thedemigodsmusic.com. That's www.thedemigodsmusic.com. You can get tracks and pictures and we got an extensive photo gallery up there from different photo shoots that we've done for the band. We've got videos and live show dates, all kinds of stuff up there. TheDemigodsMusic.com is their website, and my website is TheGlobalReality.com. Also up there at the TheGlobalReality.com, we have the chip-in banner for bills for the month and expenses for us running the network and all this stuff, and more and more accumulate every day. Price of everything goes up. It's, you know, it's the way it is. The price of everything's just continued to go up since we've started the network, started doing this, but, you know, that's just the way it is. It's everything, you know. There's not much you can do about it except continue to try to educate people about its source, you know, and that's what we're doing here, you know. So that's why it's important that we get money in to continue this, because if we continue to have money to operate and money to get out information, then we'll have a chance to get out information that can change this, and then hopefully one day we can get to the point where, you know, we don't ever have to have donations or anything like that again. It could come to that one day, you know. That's why, you know, we just got to keep pushing and doing it the way we're doing it right now, and doing it by donations and the support of our listening audience and everything, because eventually, if we keep pushing, it will get to that point, you know. Do this thing with my buddy, trying to get this thing going with my buddy, selling music equipment and stuff. He's putting up all the money, and I'm just doing the acquisitions and sales and stuff. But it's been kind of slow going at first. But, you know, eventually down the road, it'll take a while. But eventually, you know, that might turn into something that's you know, might be making some cash off of. So if that happens, you know, 7 or 8 months, 9 months, 10 months down the road, then we might get to a point eventually where, you know, we get to the point where we get enough support in every month, or we get, you know, from other activities or whatever. It may not have to do that. It may not have to ask for them anymore. Maybe wouldn't that be something? But I don't know. But, you know, the thing about it is we could do that right now. We would never need donations ever again, but I'd have to sell advertising and sponsors and have commercials every 10 or 15 minutes. I probably wouldn't be able to cuss and say the things I want to say, because I'd have to be worrying about losing sponsors and all this stuff. I would just assume be able to continue saying what I want to say and just, you know, keep the model as we've had it. So that's the way I look at it. Anyway, go chip-in banners there, donate buttons there if you want to donate towards bigger things, helping us buy new equipment, new computers to make films with. My computer's going on its 3rd year and 2nd film being made on it. So who knows how long much that's going to last, you know. We'll see. Chapter 29, The World of Fire, tonight, from William Bramley's The Gods of Eden. One significant byproduct of the American Revolution was a philosophical reshaping of how people viewed revolution. When Benjamin Franklin was in France to win French military support for the American cause, he engaged in an intensive public relations campaign. He vigorously promulgated the idea of virtuous revolution, a concept which had already found increasing favor in the Masonic lodges. The public at that time tended to view violent revolution as a crime against society. Franklin was successful in changing this perception by encouraging people to accept violent revolutions as steps in the progress of mankind. Revolutionaries were no longer to be frowned upon as criminals, he argued, because they were idealists writing for the freedom and justice. A new motto was coined: revolution against tyranny is the most sacred of duties. These bold ideas electrified Paris and helped to win open French support for the American cause, but at a terrible long-term cost to human society. The ideas expressed by Franklin have helped to stimulate endless bloody revolutions ever since. And I would say that today, these modern-day phony revolutionaries that are just like Franklin was, and the rest of these guys serving the interests of the global cartels, are continuing that, trying to stimulate another bloody revolution. Alex Jones is just playing the role that his forefathers, who he talked about openly on his show, came over on the Mayflower, started when they came over here. He's just continuing that, folks. He's just a modern-day version of that. Don't you see? The American Revolution was followed by many other revolutions and or the establishment of Republican-style governments throughout the Western world and South America. The success of the American Revolution had made it easy to rally people to fight. We witnessed during this era the French Revolution, the creation of the Batavian Republic in the Netherlands, the Helvetic Republic in Switzerland, the Cisalpine Republic in northern Italy, and the Ligurian Republic in Genoa, and the Parthenopean Republic in southern Italy. Between 1810 and 1824, the Spanish colonies in South America took up arms and won their political independence. In 1825, the Decembrist revolt broke out in Russia. A second revolution erupted in France in 1830, and that same year, a revolt in Holland brought about the sovereignty of Belgium. A Polish revolution in 1830 and 1831 was successfully stamped out by Russia. In 1848, a major wave of revolutionary activity swept Europe, spurred by an international collapse of credit caused in good part by the new inflatable paper money system, bad harvests, and a cholera epidemic. In nearly all of those revolutions, we continue to see important revolutionary leadership positions held by Freemasons. During the First French Revolution, a key rebel leader was the Duke of Orleans, who was the Grand Master of French Masonry before his resignation at the height of the Revolution. Marquis de Lafayette, the man who had been initiated in the Masonic fraternity by George Washington, also played an important role in the French revolutionary cause. The Jacobin Club, which was the radical nucleus of the French revolutionary movement, was founded by prominent Freemasons. According to Sven Luton's article, The Annihilation of Freemasonry, quote, Herbert André Chenier, Camille Desmoulins, and many other Godolins, moderate French Republicans supporting Republican government over monarchy of the French Revolution, were Freemasons. Freemasons were the primary leaders of the 1825 Decembrist revolt in Russia. Some of the planning for that revolt took place within their lodges. In South America, according to Richard DeHaan, writing in Collier's Encyclopedia, the Order of Freemasonry played an important role in the spread of liberalism and the organization of political revolution in Latin America. Like French Freemasonry, the Latin American movement was also generally anti-clerical. Anti-clerical means anti-priest class. In Mexico and Colombia, Masons helped win independence from Spain, while in Brazil they worked against Portuguese domination. Mr. London agrees. In Latin America, too, the process of liberation from the Spanish yoke was the work of the Freemasons, in large measure. Simon Bolivier was one of the most active of Masonry's sons, and so was San Martin, Mitre, Alvear, Samarinto, Benito Juarez, and all hallowed names to Latin Americans. Regarding other revolutions, Mr. London adds that many of the leaders in the great year 1848, which saw so many uprisings against feudal rule in Europe, were members of the order. Among them was the great Hungarian hero of democracy, Louis Kossuth, who found a temporary refuge in America. The 1800s also witnessed the wars of Italian unification led by Giuseppe Garibaldi, who was a 33rd degree Mason and a Grand Master of Italy. The victorious Garibaldi placed Victor Emmanuel, another Freemason, on the throne. The Italian wars of unification left two important legacies: a united Italy and the modern mafia. The mafia was a loosely knit secret society founded in Sicily in the mid-1700s. This is key info here. At first, the mafia was a resistance movement formed to oppose the foreign rulers who controlled Sicily at the time. The early mafiosi were popular heroes who specialized in criminal acts against the hated foreigners. The mafia built an underground government in Sicily and held power by extortion. The mafia assisted Garibaldi when he invaded Sicily in 1860 and declared himself dictator of the island. After the foreign rulers were ousted and Italy was unified, the mafia became the violent criminal network we now know today. Freemasonry was clearly an important catalyst in the creation of modern Western-style government. The vast majority of Freemasons who participated in the revolutions were well-intended. The representative form of government they helped to create was certainly an improvement over some of the governments they had replaced. Regrettably, the lofty ideals of those Freemasons were in the process of a speedy betrayal by sources within the Brotherhood network itself. One consequence of the French Revolution was a severe disruption of the French economy. Food production had dropped severely, and the new regime was in deep political trouble because the majority of Frenchmen were still loyal to the monarchy. Under this cloud, the revolutionary government decided to solve the problems of political opposition. Hunger and distribution of wealth by reducing the human population of France. Rather than increase food production to meet demand, it was decided to reduce the demand to match the lessened amount of food. Throughout the French nation, a program of mass murder was launched as an official program of the Revolutionary Council. This program was known as the Reign of Terror. People were put to death by all means available, including guillotine, mass drowning, bludgeoning, shooting, and starvation. Although not as many people were murdered as the council had planned, it is estimated that over 100,000 people died. We have noted that genocides, what was that called? The Reign of Terror. My goodness. No kidding there. Appropriate name for that. We have noted that genocides are committed by grouping people into superficial categories, usually based upon race, religious belief, or nationality. The victims are then targeted for slaughter, even though they may be guilty of no crimes against their murderers. The French revolutionaries took the process to an extreme. During the Reign of Terror, people were grouped simply according to their economic and vocational standing. Those who fell into the wrong categories were deemed members of an undesirable social class and were killed. This was certainly as superficial a distinction as one can make, yet grouping people in this fashion has been extremely successful in factionalizing human beings. The French Revolution dragged nearly all of the major powers of Europe into a war. Initially benefiting from this was William VI, the prince who had inherited the immense Hesse-Kassel fortune. William rented out at a handsome fee 8,000 soldiers to England to fight against the French during the first half of the 1790s, when Napoleon Bonaparte later became Emperor of France. William seemed to gain even more after Napoleon's troops occupied German regions of the West Rhine River, including some Hessian properties. Napoleon compensated William by awarding him a large section of Mainz and by conferring upon William the title of Elector, a status higher than prince. The cordiality between Napoleon and Elector William did not last very long, however. William tried to play the old trick of courting both sides of the conflict in order to make a fortune by renting soldiers. Yeah, the old Rothschild trick there. They've been funding every side of both wars since the American Civil War. William foolishly leased mercenaries to the Prussian king for £250,000 to fight Napoleon and then tried to claim neutrality. True to the warning of Machiavelli, this double dealing finally caught up and backfired on the House of Hesse. Hesse-Kassel was soon annexed and made a part of Napoleon's Kingdom of Westphalia. It was not until after Napoleon's defeat at Westphalia, at the Battle of Leipzig in 1813, that William was able to regain Hesse-Kassel. Hesse-Kassel remained under the control of his dynasty until 1866, when it was taken over. Let me be clear. It's a family name, Hesse-Kassel, Hesse-Kassel. So it's not castle as in like a royal castle. It's Hesse Castle with a K, K-A-S-S-E-L. And Hesse is spelled H-E-S-S-E, just to clarify that in case there was any question. Hesse Castle remained under the control of the dynasty until 1866 when it was taken over by Prussia. Although the Hessian royal family has remained influential in German society until well into the 20th century, it never regained exclusive rule over its territory. Hesse merged in what has become modern Germany, a country that was unified in large part by the Prussian Hohenzollern dynasty. Despite the reversal suffered by Hesse Castle, the upheavals in France proved to be a boon for one of William's financial agents. Guess who? Mayer Amschel de Rothschild, founder of one of the most influential banking houses of Europe. Mayer Amschel was an ambitious, hard-working merchant who began his career in the Jewish ghetto of Frankfurt am Main in Hesse. In 1765, 2 decades before the French Revolution, Rothschild managed to gain a hard-won audience with Prince William, who was still at that time living in Hesse-Hanau. Mayer Amschel strove to ingratiate himself with the Hessian prince by selling him antique coins at extremely low prices. William, who always had an eye open to increasing his material fortunes in any way possible, was delighted to take advantage of Rothschild's generous bargains. As a reward, William granted Rothschild's request to be appointed a crown agent to the Prince of Hesse-Hanau. This appointment, made in 1769, was more honorary than substantial, but it gave Mayer Amschel a big boost in his community standing and aided his efforts to create a successful banking house. During the 20 years following his appointment, Mayer Amschel continued to keep in close contact with Prince William. Rothschild's goal was to become one of the prince's personal financial agents. Rothschild's perseverance finally paid off. In 1789, the year in which the French Revolution began, and 4 years after William inherited the wealth of Hesse Castle, Mayer was given his first financial assignment on behalf of Prince William. This, in turn, led to the coveted position as a personal financial agent to the prince. Rothschild made a fortune from various activities while serving under William. The French Revolution and the wars it triggered created many shortages throughout Hesse. Rothschild capitalized on this situation by sharply raising the prices of the cloth he was importing from England. Rothschild also struck a deal with another of William's chief financial agents, Karl Buderus. The deal enabled Rothschild to share in the profits from the leasing of Hessian mercenaries to England. Virginia Coles, writing in her excellent book, The Rothschilds, A Family of Fortune, described the arrangement. At this point, Mayer made a proposition to the enterprising Karl Buderus. It's like uterus with a B, Buderus. England was paying the Landgrave large sums of money for the hire of Hessian soldiers, and the Rothschilds were paying England large sums of money for the goods they were importing. Why not let the two-way movement cancel itself out and pocket the commissions both ways on the bills of exchange? Buderus agreed, and soon this extra string to the Rothschilds' bow was producing an impressive revenue. Out of those beginnings rose the House of Rothschild, named after the red shield, Roth meaning red and Schild meaning shield, used as its emblem. The Rothschild family soon became synonymous with wealth, power, and banking. For generations, the Rothschild house was Europe's most powerful banking family, and it remains influential in the international banking community even today. Sharing the Rothschild house in Frankfurt during its early days was the Schiff family. The Schiffs also became a major banking family, and they have done business with the Rothschilds all the way up until our own time. Control of the Rothschilds' house, as well as many other banking houses, passed from father to sons over the generations. The Rothschilds, the Schiffs, and other banking families were truly a part of hereditary paper aristocracy to which Brotherhood revolutionaries had given a great deal of power when they established the inflatable paper money system and its attendant central banks. Many historians writing about the Rothschild family focus on the fact that Mayer Amschel was Jewish. the Rothschilds have been important supporters of Jewish causes throughout the family's history. Less frequently mentioned is the fact that the Rothschilds were also associated with German Freemasonry. This association apparently began with Mayor Amschel, who accompanied William on several trips to the Masonic lodges. Whether or not Mayer actually became a member is uncertain. It is known that his son Solomon, founder of the Rothschild Bank in Vienna, had become a Freemason, according to Jacob Katz, writing in his book Jews and Freemasonry in Europe, 1723 to 1939. The Rothschilds were one of the rich and powerful Frankfurt families appearing on a Masonic membership list in 1811. The Scottish degrees used in the German lodges were Christian in nature. This created problems for Jewish men like Rothschild who may have wanted to participate. To solve the dilemma, efforts were made in Jewish communities to change certain rituals in order to make Freemasonry acceptable to Jews. Special Jewish lodges were created, such as the Melchizedek lodges, named in honor of the Old Testament priest king, whose importance we discussed in earlier chapters. Those who belonged to the Melchizedek lodges were said to be members of the Order of Melchizedek. This was an extremely interesting development, for across the Atlantic Ocean, the name of Melchizedek was about to be resurrected on the American continent during what some people believe to have been a series of significant UFO episodes. Those episodes gave the world a new religion. That new religion was the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, better known as the Mormon Church. Yeah. Well, that's the end of chapter 29 there. And the next chapter is chapter 30, Master Smith and the Angel. Boy, this is going to be some good stuff. Let me see how long this chapter is. Yeah, it's pretty long. We're going to leave it there tonight because I have a feeling, if the news continues to just focus on all this Osama craziness and we don't have a lot of news, I still want to be able to get up here and do a show. So next time on the broadcast, we'll pick up chapter 30, Master Smith and the Angel. And boy, good reading, good stuff there tonight. Man, oh man, oh man. Well, the plot just continues to thicken. And I really have enjoyed reading this book and still am continuing to enjoy reading this book because, again, not a lot of this stuff is stuff that most of us didn't already know, and that's not the point. The point of the matter is that this is a lot of stuff now that going through it and reading it, especially now with everything that's happening and all the new stuff we found out about the Council for National Policy and the Jesuit Order and the priest class stuff, and really the phony patriot stuff. You really see now why this information has been left out of the bigger picture because, again, it figures the people that these guys are working for and the guys that they're controlled by. So it really has been a real good addition to me, at least I think personally for me and my knowledge, and continues to do so. So glad you all could be with us here and enjoyed reading with you tonight. GlobalRealityShow@gmail.com is my email address. Please donate and support to our work if you can. The shipping banner's there. We need all the support we can get right now, folks, I tell you. And just send all your healing energy and good positive energy the way of my dad, Bart Reeves. He's not doing too good right now, and, he's not that old of a guy either, mid-50s. It's just, I'm 34, my sister's 23, my brother's, 27. It's just, we're kind of young to lose our dad, so any healing energies you might want to send our way would be greatly appreciated. But donate and support our work if you can. The donate button's there if you want to donate larger amounts to help us buy new equipment, cameras, and computers. Just thanks to everybody out there who continues to donate and keep us alive, man. I love you guys so much. You guys have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow for the show. Take care.